The Foo Community presents the top 50 Latino rappers, U.S. only. Thizzler. Oh, no. Sorry. The Foo Community put this list out. And there's been a lot of controversy going on about this, in particular because Lefty Gunplay is very, very offended at him being put at 11th place. Now, let's take a look at everybody who's been ranked above Lefty, since I feel like that's the main stuff that we have to review here. To me, it's pretty much without question Mexican OT, D-Baby, OGZ, Peso, Bravo the Bag Chaser, Phoenix Flexin, Drex the Joint. To me, they're all pretty clearly above Lefty in terms of their musical output and the popularity of their music.
Rucci too, though.
Okay.
Rucci's okay. So this is an expansive list if you're putting Rucci in there too.
No, but here's the thing. So there's like, we got to create a little bit more context. So off rip,
I didn't even know Rucci was Latino at all.
Yeah, he is. He's half Mexican or Salvadorian, I believe.
Okay.
Top 50 Latino rappers, U.S. only. Okay. Latino encompasses far more than just like Mexicans and Salvadorians and things like that. So how come there's no New York Dominicans? How come like all the drill rappers when like 95%?
Because it's the full community.
Okay, so
you know it's gonna be strictly from the Mississippi back west.
Then why the fuck is it say Latino rappers, bro? Like off rip, there's an issue with the list.
It doesn't go past Texas though. It's from the Mississippi River back.
Say U.S. only.
Okay,
so if it's U.S. only,
that's when you start acting white.
What do you mean, bro?
This is an LA-based page, bro. Okay, I don't think. Check the comments and see if anybody else gives a fuck about what you're arguing about, bro.
I'm making valid points.
But nobody gives a fuck.
Okay. Then let's look at some other points then. If no one gives a fuck
wait, what is the disagreement here?
The disagreement is
that is no New York rappers on Foo Community's post because it says Latino U.S. only,
US
and it's not just Mexican and Salvadorian.
It doesn't say west of Texas. It doesn't. So off rip, if you're gonna label it Latino rappers top 50 and born in the U.S.
How many people fucking east of Texas follow the Foo Community?
That don't matter though.
But by that law, shouldn't Cardi B be on here?
Definitely.
You know, like it seems pretty clear because even when I'm looking at this. Who's a northerner? Just Cito and GB, right?
But there's a few others later on the list as well. But it's like
we're just looking at the top 20 right now.
Yeah. But the thing is this. So there's more. Okay, so you're going to include Rucci, but Frosty the Snowman's not included. So even like Mexican, half or part Mexican born LA rappers, X4 is on the list. You know what I'm saying? But somehow X4 is right. So X4 is on the list and he's judged.
Like
hold on. Yeah. And he's judged on the same criteria because later on, if you look at the other slides, it shows the criteria, which by the way, I don't really know how much experience the people that analyze this list have within hip hop because there's a lot of glaring inconsistencies, which makes me damn near, and I'll just go out and say it. And I respect Foo Community. I rock with Foo Community. I feel like this list is compromised. And there's certain people that damn near it seemed like they paid for spot. It's like a Dijon Paul type list.
Who seems like they paid for the spot? Not any of the top 20, right?
Not any of the top 20. I'm not going to say that any of these fools paid for lists, but there's a few really odd choices, especially based on the criteria. But then there's omissions that make zero sense. And the fact that, you got King Lil G at number 9. King Lil G is definitely like one of the GOAT Latino rappers from California. But how the fuck is he been more relevant or active, had a better year? I'm glad that you even stopped, Adam, when you were listening to people after Drex, because you even know the Peso didn't have a better year. And the fact
that Peso don't even have a hit yet.
Peso.
Yeah, a hit. Hardest essay ever. But granted, that was like 6 years ago.
And that's like a YouTube hit.
Yeah.
That's not like Lefty Gunplay has like a charting record, whether or not it's 4 words or not. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like when I look at this list, I don't know if they do this every year or what. I feel like Lefty Gunplay been going around doing all these interviews in which he said he's the biggest Mexican rapper ever.
Okay, well, that's not true.
In some of those conversations when he says that, like Vlad checked him on that and started listing off a bunch of different rappers who he felt like, in terms of the history of Southern California are bigger than him. To me, this is almost like the Foo Community saying, Lefty, here's 10 current rappers that we feel are bigger than you.
He needs
at
to
this
stop
time.
saying that he the face of Mexican rap. He the face of Southsiders, period, right now.
Yeah.
Like when people think Southsiders, they think of his interviews. His interviews hit. He is like a face though. Like he don't know how to word it. He trying to say he rap better than everybody. He's a bigger personality. Never mind the following and all that, but like he's so like cliche Southsider, burnt out. You understand? One of the burnt out homies. Like you get what I'm saying?
No, he definitely
he's
personifies the
definition
energy.
of fool.
He's the
Like,
he's like if you embody the image of what people think of, it's like it's like
all the tats,
like
burnt the fuck out.
You know Hector from Friday. If that was 2025,
come
you feel
on,
me?
man.
That's legend.
But somebody like Peso does way more views on his average music video, but Lefty obviously has been kind of like dominating the discourse on the blogs and the podcasts and stuff in Southern California. So it's kind of like, I feel like the place that they gave Lefty is largely based on how much motion he's had in the media, even though, I mean, his music does okay. Like there's a certain amount of people paying attention to his music and everything. You got to give him credit for the Kendrick thing. But ultimately, I do feel like Lefty's on here largely as somebody who's gotten attention for their non-musical endeavors.
An OTR stamp is a lot in the Hispanic community too.
Right. Well,
like being signed to OTR, you automatically get fans to like they already
symbol.
like it's a status.
That was Lefty's
like,
goal before he even like he was
saying?
DMing OTR like
so
right when he got his Instagram back, probably when he got out of the pen, he's like, "Yo, what's up? I want to sign to you." Like that. That's like a huge thing out here. But
if you produce something different coming up out of that studio, you engineering and producing new sounds in the community like he does, like they're respecting it a little bit. So yeah, I mean, because the Lefty, when I think he was just going to the studio burnt out off Crystal, could rap. This new Lefty can't rap because he's too conscious about what he doing. Well, they need to just let him get loaded for a month while he records.
I think that's the worst advice I've ever heard.
Yeah, I feel like the drugs are bad for his output.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Crystal had you rapping crazy. Les, you probably write a fucking book off of that shit.
Of course, bro. Like people think I'm probably tweaking
why you
right
think
now,
Kodak Black is a fucking genius off that shit? Not that. I'm not saying look, I ain't never did it to rap, but I'm just saying
I hear you. But
the people who admit to doing meth and rapping, they're fucking lyrical genius.
But my issue, like that asinine statement aside, I don't like my biggest aversion to the list is not Lefty's placement. You know what I mean? Like although I do believe he's wrongly placed, there's like the whole entire order is wrong, but it's based on a criteria. If you go to like one of the later slides on one of these posts, you'll see the criteria they use. And to support what you said, the criteria like had Lefty's music ranked very low. It was like the other aspects of his career that even got him so high on the list. But if the criteria is quote unquote being Latino and X4 is judged on the same criteria, how the fuck is X4 not in the top 5 rappers on this list?
To me, X4 has much more emotion than a lot of people who are in the bottom half of this list.
That's ridiculous. And then that makes no sense. It's like there's so much flaw in the system. It's like worse than a DeJean Paul report card almost. Like, but with that being said, if you look at the top 3, I'm not going to say the order is right, but I feel like they got the names pretty damn accurate. You know what I mean? Like, I think, to me, OGZ is in California by far the biggest Mexican artist. It's not even close.
But okay, do you feel like OGZ's most popular music was not stuff that necessarily came out this year or even in like the last couple of years? It feels like OGZ is a huge name, but his musical output, and I say this not 100% sure like how much stuff he put out this year, but I just feel like OGZ has big, huge fucking records, but he's not necessarily the topic of conversation on a consistent basis the way that everybody's yapping about Lefty on podcasts and shit. Despite the fact that OGZ musically, I think probably has the biggest records out of anybody on this list.
Well, to me,
it's with Phoenix, obviously.
To me, he's the best rapper on this list. So I'll just go out on a limb and say that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'd say D Baby is.
I say OGZ is, but like
I'm a different. I mean, he talking about lean fucking forward again.
What?
Hey,
OGZ
he
came
got a
out
different
rapping about
bounce.
lean.
But
Like
what
what?
I'm saying though, that's a whole different bounce.
Yeah.
He on some trap.
You like his Southern
auto-tune.
fried
Yeah,
shit.
he
Yeah,
going
I get it.
crazy.
He's got it. He's like that, the Texas Southern fried. No, D baby, hard. I'm not trying to take nothing away from bro.
No, OGZ,
But
it's definitely. I would say, I don't know accolades why, but I would say D baby. Then that Mexican OT, and I keep OGZ right there. Only because I don't like West Coast shit
honestly,
like that.
I feel like that Mexican OT. It's weird because like it appeals to such a different contingent than the vast majority.
Well, that's why it's kind of hard to judge. Yeah.
Yeah. But it really, if we're like judging overall impact and who the most people, who's casting the widest net, it is that Mexican OT. Like, you know what I mean?
Because I don't think you can review that Mexican OT. Like, if we're going to give Lefty Gunplay credit for being on all these podcasts, being talked about on all these podcasts, constantly being in the blogs and the Instagram pages, well, you should also have to give Mexican OT credit for being on fucking Joe Rogan.
That's what I'm saying.
All these big mainstream looks. Like,
that's why he's number one.
Yeah.
He's been there.
He appeals like even though he's a young dude, he appeals to like an older crowd, like people that are more like hip hop.
Kev vlog was dope too.
Yeah,
Hunting pigs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like but the fact is like he actually has substance as well in his music. He actually like he can rap for real. As far as like rapping skill, he's a better rapper than OGZ for sure. Whose music, like who's getting the most play in my ride? OGZ for sure. You know what I'm saying? And D baby,
because you from LA, it's only right.
Yeah, but and
I missed the OGZ wave, so I wouldn't know where to start. He got so much music, I respect it, and everything I hear him on, he go crazy. So you know what I mean.
And to your point, like him even being the one Mexican rapper to appear at the Pop Out, which is the most seminal like hip hop event of the year, that in and of itself like gives a lot of credence to his wave. And the song he performed, Geeka Leak, I believe might have come out in 2023, but that he does have. I guarantee you, he has more monthly listeners than the vast majority of that list. I don't know if he has more than OT, but I'd be
OGZ's monthly listeners are like very big consistently still because those Shoreline records are huge. That's not going to change anytime soon, you know.
Well, and that don't even count exactly. So if you combine the Shoreline record numbers and OGZ,
he did 600 million streams if you count all of them together, because he did 280 something by himself and then 2 high 80s with Shoreline last year. So it's like he's damn near 600.
If everything was locked in place, but you had to move Lefty up or down on this list, where do you think that you would place him?
I think there's no way Lefty's not in the top 5 of this list. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless because like honestly, if you're including all the X-Foes and Ruchis and Frosty the Snowmans, that completely changes the dynamic. Because it's like if you're gonna make a list based on technicality and you're using whole systems, just the fact that you're call it Latino rappers US only list is weird to me. You know what I mean? Off rip, I still can't get over that. And then you're basing it on like your subjective metrics right there. I don't know, man. There's no way Lefty's not top 5. He had a better year than anybody else on that list that's not in the top 5. Even Bravo, like Bravo's killing it and has a lot of momentum, but Bravo probably wouldn't say he had a more impactful year. This is the entirety of Lefty's career.
Yeah.
Is this year,
as
bro.
Much as I think that Lefty's a douchebag, I do kind of agree with that. It's kind of hard to say that Peso had a better year than Lefty.
I don't see how Peso's in the top 10, and I fuck with
Peso a lot as a dude. But let's be real. Lefty's been massively discussed. Yes, the music sucks. Yes, he needs to learn how to rap. But you kind of got to give it to him. He's been heavily in the conversation. The Kendrick record was a big look, even if it was basically also a subtle diss from my perspective.
Yeah, I think y'all putting too much extras on the Kendrick shit. I don't think that we could take the 4 bars. Like, shout out Peso.